Picture a moment so blinding, so otherworldly, that the air itself trembles with fire and awe. A vision of creatures with 6 wings, their forms ablaze, chanting "Holy, holy, holy" before a throne too radiant for mortal eyes. These are the seraphim, the Bible's most mysterious and fearsome beings. Not gentle angels, but fiery guardians of divine truth. Why do these blazing entities, glimpsed only briefly in Scripture, haunt the imaginations of mystics and seekers? They are the embodiment of purification, burning away illusion to reveal the soul's hidden spark. In this video, we'll unravel the enigma of the seraphim, exploring their ancient origins, their symbolic power, and their call to awaken the divine fire within you. We'll journey through their historical roots in Near Eastern lore and biblical visions, dive into their esoteric significance as agents of spiritual transformation, and uncover practical ways to channel their energy through meditation, chants, or inner alchemy. By the end, you'll not only understand these celestial flames, but also hold tools to ignite your own path to transcendence. Step into the blaze, seeker, for the seraphim await. To grasp the seraphim's mystery, we must step back into the swirling mists of ancient Near Eastern spirituality, where the line between myth and divine encounter blurs like smoke rising from a sacred altar. The seraphim, those fiery beings of Isaiah's vision, do not emerge from a vacuum. Their name, derived from the Hebrew saraf, meaning to burn or fiery one, hints at a deeper lineage, one intertwined with the ancient cultures that shaped the biblical world. In Egyptian mythology, serpentine deities like the Uraeus, a cobra-like figure spitting fire, adorned the crowns of pharaohs, symbolizing divine protection and destructive power. Similarly, Mesopotamian texts speak of winged, serpentine beings guarding sacred spaces, their forms both terrifying and revered. Could the seraphim be echoes of these older archetypes, transformed by the Hebrew prophets into vessels of divine will? This question sets the stage for their profound role in biblical and esoteric traditions. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 6, we find the most vivid depiction of the seraphim. Around 740 BCE, the prophet Isaiah, standing in the temple, is thrust into a vision of God's throne, surrounded by these 6-winged beings. Their cry, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts," reverberates like a cosmic pulse, shaking the temple's foundations. Each seraph, with 2 wings covering its face, 2 its feet, and 2 for flight, embodies a paradox. They are near God, yet shield themselves from His infinite glory. Isaiah, overwhelmed, cries out in fear, unworthy in the presence of such holiness, until a seraph purifies him with a burning coal, an act of searing grace. This moment, steeped in awe and terror, marks the seraphim as agents of divine encounter, not just guardians, but catalysts for spiritual transformation. The seraphim's significance deepens in later Jewish and Christian thought. In the Second Temple period, texts like the Book of Enoch expand angelic hierarchies, placing seraphim among the highest orders, alongside cherubim and thrones. The Jewish mystical tradition of Merkabah mysticism, which sought visions of God's chariot throne, saw the seraphim as gatekeepers of the divine realms, their fiery nature a test for the soul's purity. Early Christian theologians, like Pseudo-Dionysius in the 5th century, formalized this in his celestial hierarchy, ranking seraphim as the closest to God, their burning love and ceaseless worship reflecting the divine essence itself. To Dionysius, their fire was not mere destruction, but illumination, a metaphor for the soul's ascent to divine union, burning away ego and illusion. Philosophically, the seraphim embody a universal principle found in esoteric traditions worldwide: the transformative power of fire. In alchemy, fire transmutes base metals into gold, just as the seraphim purify the soul for divine communion. Hindu traditions speak of Agni, the sacred fire of purification. Zoroastrianism reveres fire as a symbol of divine wisdom. The seraphim, then, are not just biblical oddities, but archetypes of a perennial truth. To approach the divine, one must pass through the flames of self-transformation. Their 6 wings, 2 for reverence, 2 for humility, 2 for action, mirror the balance of contemplation and service required on any spiritual path. Yet their rarity in Scripture adds to their mystique. Unlike angels or cherubim mentioned frequently, the seraphim appear only in Isaiah's vision and fleetingly in later texts like Revelation, where creatures around God's throne echo their Trisanon chant. Why so scarce? Perhaps their intensity was too much for regular mention, their fire a truth too potent for casual revelation. Mystics like Hildegard of Bingen and modern esotericists suggest the seraphim represent the divine spark within us all, a spark we must awaken through disciplined practice and courage. This historical and philosophical tapestry sets the stage for understanding their deeper symbolism and practical relevance, which we'll explore next.
Now, let us descend deeper into the heart of the mystery, where the seraphim's form unfolds like a sacred scroll, revealing layers of symbolism that pulse with eternal truth. At their core, the seraphim are not mere attendants in a heavenly court. They are living embodiments of divine attributes, crafted from fire and wing in a design that defies mortal comprehension. Picture them as cosmic flames, dancing eternally around the throne of the infinite, their very existence a testament to the untamed power of holiness. In Isaiah's vision, they are described with 6 wings, 2 to veil their faces from God's overwhelming radiance, 2 to cover their feet in humble reverence, and 2 to propel them in swift, unerring flight. This tripartite division is no accident. It mirrors the soul's own journey. Contemplation, shielded from ego's glare, grounded humility in the face of the divine, and dynamic action to carry out sacred will. Consider the analogy of a blacksmith's forge. Just as the smith wields fire to shape raw iron into a gleaming sword, burning away impurities, tempering strength, the seraphim represent the divine forge of the spirit. Their fiery nature, rooted in the Hebrew saraf, evokes serpents of flame, much like the brazen serpent Moses lifted in the wilderness to heal the afflicted. Here, fire is dual-edged. It scorches and heals, destroys illusion while illuminating truth. The seraphim's bodies, implied to be serpentine and ablaze, symbolize this paradox. In ancient lore, serpents shed skins to renew themselves, a metaphor for spiritual rebirth. Combined with fire, they become agents of alchemical transmutation, turning the leaden weight of sin into the gold of purity.
But let's break this down further into core concepts. First, the concept of holiness as separation and elevation. The seraphim's ceaseless chant, "Holy, holy, holy," known as the Trisagion, is a rhythmic invocation that resonates like the heartbeat of the universe. Holy, in Hebrew, kadosh, means set apart, transcendent, untouchable by the profane. Through repetition, thrice uttered, it invokes the triune mystery, perhaps the Father, Son, and Spirit in Christianese, or wisdom, understanding, and knowledge in Kabbalistic thought. This chant isn't idle praise, it's a vibrational force that sustains creation, much like how sound waves in quantum physics underpin matter's form. Imagine meditating on this.
By intoning "Holy, Holy, Holy" in your own practice, you create a sonic shield, elevating your consciousness above mundane distractions, aligning with the seraphic frequency. Second, the wings as multifaceted symbols. The two covering the face speak to divine inaccessibility, the mysterium tremendum, as theologian Rudolf Otto called it, that overwhelming, awe-inspiring both fascination and fear. No being, not even the seraphim, can gaze directly upon the divine without peril, akin to staring at the sun, which blinds yet enlightens. The wings over the feet symbolize modesty and service. In ancient cultures, feet represented the base, earthly aspects, veiled to honor the sacred ground. Finally, the flying wings denote mobility and omnipotence, like eagles soaring on thermal winds, effortless yet powerful. Together, they form a blueprint for spiritual balance. Protect your vision from hubris, humble your steps, and act with celestial agility.
Third, their role as purifiers. The burning coal episode is pivotal, a practical emblem of catharsis. In esoteric terms, this is inner alchemy. The coal, drawn from God's altar, represents divine grace applied to human frailty. For seekers today, visualize this in meditation. Imagine a seraph approaching with a glowing ember, touching your lips, your words, thoughts, intentions, burning away negativity. Breathe deeply, feeling the heat dissolve doubts, emerging renewed. This technique, drawn from contemplative traditions, fosters resilience, turning personal trials into transformative fires. These core elements, their form, chant, and purifying function, form the foundation of seraphic wisdom, inviting us to embody their essence. Yet, as we venture further, nuances emerge, revealing contradictions and hidden depths that challenge our understanding. As we plunge further into the seraphim's enigmatic depths, nuances arise like embers flickering in the night, revealing contradictions that challenge our linear minds and invite profound introspection. One such paradox lies in their dual nature as both serpents and flames, symbols historically laden with ambiguity. In biblical lore, serpents evoke the Garden of Eden's tempter, a creature of cunning and downfall, yet also the healing staff of Moses, the Nehushtan, where gazing upon a fiery serpent cures venom's bite. The seraphim embody this tension. Their name Seraph links to venomous desert serpents in Numbers 21, where God sends fiery serpents as judgment, only to provide redemption through a bronze effigy. Here, the seraphim transcend mere punishment. They are the divine antidote, their fire a venom that poisons impurity while injecting holiness. This duality mirrors esoteric teachings in Gnosticism, where the serpent represents gnosis, forbidden knowledge that awakens the soul from slumber. Imagine the seraphim as cosmic physicians. Their sting awakens dormant potential, much like how a controlled burn in a forest clears deadwood to foster new growth. Delving into lesser-known aspects, we encounter the seraphim's hierarchical placement in angelic orders, a concept rife with interpretive layers. While Pseudo-Dionysius positions them at the pinnacle, closest to God's ineffable light, Kabbalistic texts like the Zohar reframe them within the Sephirot, the tree of life. Seraphim align with spheres like Bina, understanding, or Jabura, severity, their fire embodying the rigorous judgment that tempers mercy. Contradictions emerge in apocryphal works. The Book of Enoch describes holy watchers, akin to seraphim who fall from grace, blending with human lineages to birth giants, a narrative echoing fallen angels in Genesis 6. Are the seraphim infallible guardians or beings capable of descent? This ambiguity underscores a spiritual truth. Even celestial fires can cast shadows, reminding us that proximity to the divine demands eternal vigilance. In practical terms, this invites shadow work,
Meditate on your inner fallen seraphim, visualizing flames illuminating repressed fears, transforming them into wisdom. Another nuance is their auditory essence, the Trisagion chant as a gateway to altered states. Beyond praise, this repetition functions like a mantra in Eastern traditions, such as the Hindu Om or Sufi Dhikr, inducing trance and unity with the divine. Esotericists posit the chant's threefold structure vibrates at frequencies aligning chakras or subtle bodies. The first, holy, awakens the root, grounding in reverence. The second ignites the heart, fostering love. The third crowns the mind, granting insight. Experiment with this. In a quiet space, chant Holy, Holy, Holy for 10 minutes, focusing on breath. Inhale purity, exhale impurity. Feel the vibration rise like seraphic wings, dissolving mental barriers. Historical mystics, like the Desert Fathers, adapted this into the Jesus Prayer, a seraph-inspired loop for ceaseless inner worship.
Addressing contradictions, some scholars debate if seraphim and cherubim are distinct or interchangeable. Ezekiel's visions describe cherubim with multiple faces and wheels, yet sharing fiery traits, perhaps a prophetic overlap, symbolizing that angelic forms defy rigid categories, adapting to the visionary's context. In modern esotericism, figures like Rudolf Steiner viewed seraphim as evolutionary forces, guiding humanity's spiritual ascent through epochs. This ties into practical advice. Invoke seraphic energy during life transitions using fire rituals. Safely light a candle, gaze into its flame, and affirm purification intentions. Analogized to a phoenix, the seraphic's fire consumes the old self, birthing renewal. Finally, lesser-known insights from comparative mythology enrich our view. In Islamic tradition, the Muqarrabun, close angels, echo seraphim, their light forms praising Allah eternally. Shamanic cultures worldwide describe fire spirits as intermediaries, bridging worlds. These convergences suggest the seraphim as universal archetypes, accessible beyond doctrine. To reinforce, craft a seraph talisman, draw 6 wings encircling a flame, and carry it as a reminder of inner guardianship. Through these depths, the seraphim reveal not just biblical curiosities, but mirrors of our multifaceted souls, urging us to embrace contradiction as the forge of true enlightenment.
Philosophically, the seraphim invite us to contemplate our place in the cosmic hierarchy. Are we not, in our essence, sparks of that same divine fire, capable of chanting our own Trisagion in the temple of the heart? Yet this is no abstract reverie. Practical techniques woven throughout offer gateways to experience their power. Invoke their energy through meditative visualizations, where you envision a seraph's coal touching your inner shadows, dissolving fears into light. Chant Holy, Holy, Holy as a daily mantra to align your vibrations with celestial harmony, or perform simple fire rituals with a candle to symbolize renewal during life's trials. These acts, grounded in esoteric wisdom, bridge the ancient and the now, turning biblical enigma into personal alchemy. In reflecting on the seraphim, consider this. What impurities linger in your soul, awaiting the purifying blaze? Embrace their mystery, not as distant lore, but as a call to awaken the inner guardian, fierce, reverent, and ever vigilant. Let their wings shield you from distraction, their flight propel you toward purpose, and their fire forge you anew. Seeker, the throne of the divine resides within. Approach it with awe, and you shall be transformed. If this revelation stirs your spirit, share your experiences below. Subscribe for more unveilings of esoteric truths, and dare to ignite the seraphic flame in your life. The holy fire beckons. Will you answer?